Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer beat Thomas Tuchel again? Today's game will be the fifth meeting between Solskjaer and Thomas Tuchel. Solskjaer has beaten Thomas Tuchel twice. That's when Tuchel was the PSG manager. And Tuchel has beaten Ole Gunnar Solskjaer twice. Tuchel has not yet lost as Chelsea manager. Tuchel recently admitted that PSG's Champions League defeat to us left him in a dark place. Chelsea appointed Tuchel in earlier on this season to replace Frank Lampard. Chelsea sacked Frank Lampard after just 18 months in charge. Gotta say, I was shocked at Chelsea sacked Frank Lampard. I know Chelsea are a sacking football club, but Frank Lampard is a Chelsea legend. He endured 13 years with them as a player. He's their all-time leading goal scorer with 211 goals. And a lot of Chelsea fans disagreed with the decision to sack Frank Lampard. They felt as though he should have been given more time. This is a must-win game for Manchester United. We drew with Chelsea at Old Trafford earlier on this season, 0-0. Weren't the best of games. Rashford had some good chances in that game, and Edison Cavani almost scored with his first touch. We did beat Chelsea 3 times out of the 4 times we played them last season. We're beating them 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. That was our first win at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League since 2012. We're beating them 2-1 in the EFL Cup at Stamford Bridge. And we're beating them 4-0 at Old Trafford on the opening day of last season. They beat us 3-1 in the FA Cup semi-final last season. Chelsea did very good recruitment last year. Obviously, they brought Hakim Ziyech in. They brought Timo Werner in. Timo Werner's done nowhere near as good as I expected and a lot of other people expected. They brought Ben Chilwell in, brought Kai Havertz in, brought Milan Sarr in, brought Thiago Silva in, and brought Mendy in. So last year, Chelsea spent over £200 million. Chelsea have got some very, very good young players as well. They've got that Reece James who I rate. They've got Mason Mount. They've got Tammy Abraham. They've got Callum Hudson-Odoi. They've got Billy Gilmore. They've got Christian Pulisic. So they've got some very, very good young players. I think probably one of Chelsea's best players is N'Golo Kante. He's obviously won the title with Chelsea. He won it during his time at Leicester. Azpilicueta, he's quite good. I rate that Marco Alonso. Rudiger's a very, very good centre-half for them. There's a few players I don't rate at Chelsea. I don't rate Olivier Giroud. I thought he was much better at Arsenal than he is at Chelsea. I don't rate Jorginho. Chelsea got Jorginho from Napoli. I certainly don't rate Arrizabalaga. He's a dreadful goalkeeper and Chelsea paid a substantial amount for him. Chelsea have loaned around 30 players out. They've let a few players go permanently in recent years. Obviously, they did lose David Luiz. They lost Willian. They both went to Arsenal. Chelsea also let Eden Hazard go a few years ago. I think Chelsea made a bad mistake by getting rid of Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard was a long-serving player at Chelsea. He enjoyed 7 or 7.5 years with them. He hasn't done good since he's gone to Real Madrid. A few years ago, Chelsea did have a transfer ban. But like I say, we've got to start beating the top 6 sides in the Premier League, because we've really struggled against the top 6 sides in the Premier League this season. Solskjaer has confirmed that Donny van de Beek, Edison Cavani and Scott McTominay are all doubts for this game. But there again, he's saying that he's not sure if Edison Cavani will be available for today's game. Said that recently. Edison Cavani has been out with a muscle injury. Reflecting on that, he's missed our last 3 games. Edison Cavani's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. You know, Edison Cavani scores goals, he creates chances, his hold-up play is very good. His movement in and out of the box is good. Solskjaer did say not so long ago that Cavani is set for contract extension talks. And Cavani said he wants to stay at Man United for next season. So I presume we'll trigger that 1-year extension on his contract. Apparently we'll have to pay Edison Cavani around 1.75 mil if we don't extend his deal. We got Cavani on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract on Man United with an option of a 2nd year. Donny van de Beek, I think he's been out of a muscle injury. Even if he had been available, don't think he'd have played in today's game. Van de Beek has played nowhere near as much as I expected. Most of Van de Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. You know, Solskjaer promised Van de Beek more game time earlier on this season, because Ollie made an admission regarding Van de Beek, saying that he is unhappy at the club due to his lack of game time. He needs to get more opportunities because he is a good player. Van de Beek can play in 3 different roles. We got him in a deal, don't forget, with £40 million, paid £35 million up front, and there was £5 million in add-ons. And Van de Beek's got a contract with the club till 2025. It was saying from ESPN back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Donny van de Beek. We was reluctant to let him go. And Scott McTominay, I think he's been out with some kind of knock. And McTominay, you know, he's enjoyed very, very good games this season. I can definitely show Paul Pogba's out. Ollie's confirmed that Paul Pogba's going to be out for a few more weeks. Paul Pogba has got a thigh injury. And he is a big miss, because you can say we lack quality in that midfield without him. In recent months, we've been getting the best out of Pogba before he got this injury. He's been enjoying the best period in his Man United career since he rejoined. Pogba had an ankle injury earlier on this season, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. I'm expecting Paul Pogba back at some point in March. We're still hopeful that Paul Pogba will sign a new contract at Man United. If we can't find an adequate replacement for him in the summer, then maybe he will sign a new contract. A few weeks ago, it said we'd held talks with Paul Pogba over his future. Solskjaer said Pogba's happy at the club, and Solskjaer even suggested he could sign a new contract. He's had a long-running transfer saga. You know, Real Madrid have been relentlessly linked with him. PSG have been in for him, and his former club Juventus have been in for him. We revealed our asking price for Paul Pogba. It's £100 million. We won't get 100 million, but if we sold him in the summer, I think we could get from between 60 to 70 million. Mini Oriola He's desperate to get his client out of the football club in the summer. Mini Oriola's been criticised a few times, and Mini Oriola doesn't have a good relationship with Man United. He recently admitted that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence, and he made an announcement back in December regarding Paul Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mini Oriola's announcement. Earlier on this season, we triggered that one-year extension on Paul Pogba's contract, so he's under contract with the club until June 2022. We won our last league game against Newcastle. We're beating them 3-1. It was a good result, but it weren't the best of performances. Obviously, prior to the Newcastle game, we'd only won 1 of our last 5 in the Premier League. Solskjaer still thinks that Man United are in the title race. He said after the 1-1 draw with West Brom that we are still in the title race and will not settle for second in the title race. But he made a total different admission after the 3-3 draw of Everton. He said we shouldn't be considered as title chasers, and at that point it was less points, so it doesn't really make any sense. I think it's just Ole's been playing mind games. Manchester City are the champions, let the 13 points in front of us. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. Top 4 is now our aim, and I can almost assure that we will finish in the top 4. It would be a disaster to finish out of the top 4. Solskjaer said in his press conference building up to this game that the top 4 race will go down to the wire. By the way, Juan Mata, he's out as well for a couple of weeks. Probably Juan Mata wouldn't have played in this game anyway. Don't forget Chelsea is his former club. Daniel James, he sustained an injury in our 0-0 draw with Real Sociedad in the Europa League round of 32, second leg. And Daniel James, has been playing a lot recently. After Chelsea, we have got Crystal Palace. And then after Crystal Palace, it's Man City. And that's going to be a very, very tough game. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer must win a trophy at Manchester United to avoid the sack. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and the club of our stature need to be winning trophies. The FA Cup is a chance of a trophy, and the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. This year's summer transfer window is the biggest in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career, because we do need to make signings. And I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer. A centre-back is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority, and a forward is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority. Our transfer budget has been revealed, and it's not what a lot of Man United fans expected. There was narratives coming out a few weeks ago saying that we are prepared to smash our transfer record in the summer, and Woodward's set to hand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a huge war chest to sign top players in all areas. The board must back Ole in the summer because he deserves more backing at the club. I think the transfer windows Solskjaer's endured so far, he has not been backed enough. Main explanation is because he hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in as yet. Don't get me wrong, he has made good signings. He spent over 200 million. And, Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ole, and he said towards the end of last year that he will back Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. The summer transfer window of this year will be Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. Now, I've just recently given you the news on Raphael Varane. Real Madrid are considering offers for Raphael Varane in the summer. He's valued at around £61 million. According to the AS, they've said talks over extending his deal have not settled. OK Dairo have said that Real Madrid have slashed their asking price for Raphael Varane to £43 million. We're interested, Liverpool are interested, PSG are also interested. Raphael Varane is into the final 18 months of his current contract. His contract to Real Madrid expires in 2022. I'd certainly take Raphael Varane alongside Harry Maguire in our backline because I think they complement each other well. Varane has been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. You know, he's been at Real Madrid for like 10 years. He's made over 300 appearances for them and he's won 18 major honours. Real Madrid paid like €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011 and he's 27 years of age, so he is highly experienced. You know, Jadon Sancho, you know the news on him. Apparently we'll be able to sign Sancho for $75 million. We face a battle with Real Madrid. It recently said we are willing to sign Jadon Sancho for a reduced fee of £50 million. By the way, we recently got handed a Jadon Sancho transfer boost because Borussia Dortmund's CEO come out and made an admission saying that Sancho, Haaland and more Dortmund stars could be sold to avoid financial chaos. Sports Build recently said that we are very interested in signing Sancho. The Athletic said different because they said we have paused our transfer pursuit of Sancho due to Mason Greenwood. Bild said earlier on this season that Dortmund reduced their asking price for Sancho to £88 million. So not £20 million off because last summer Borussia Dortmund's valuation was £108 million. We was not willing to meet that valuation. By the way, Sancho breaks Bundesliga record because he's got his 50th assist for Borussia Dortmund. And as you all know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would love to sign Erling Haaland. It would be good to see Ole reunite with the player. Ole was the one that gave Erling Haaland his debut at just the age of 16 at Molde, and Solskjaer did say in his press conference prior to the game against Sociedad that he's keeping in touch with Haaland. Dortmund will demand around £100 million for him if he's to be sold this summer. He has a £68 million release clause that becomes active next year. And you know the news on Jules Koundé, don't you? Apparently he's our top target. We're unwilling to meet his £68 million release clause, but we are still interested. More players are going to leave Man United in the summer transfer window. Like I've said, there's a good chance that Juan Mata will leave. Solskjaer said prior to the game against Sociedad that he's not surprised that Juan Mata has linked to a move away from the club. There's 3 Italian clubs that are interested in him. Mata doesn't even get in our team now, but in the games he has played in, he's done well. Earlier on this season, Juan Mata rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Juan Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years. We got Juan Mata in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Brought him in under the David Moyes era. And like I said, there's a good chance Pogba will leave in the summer. There's a lot of United fans that are saying we need to sell Anthony Martial in the summer. Now, apparently, we are prepared to sell Martial in the summer on one condition. That's if we can win the battle to sign Erling Haaland. If we sell Martial in the summer, I think we can get, 30 million? Apparently, Inter Milan are interested. Inter Milan, don't forget, have got a few players off us. They got Lukaku off us, they got Young off us, and they got Alexis Sanchez off us. Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. He's had chances, but he just hasn't converted them. Solskjaer recently said that he's happy with Anthony Martial's work rate, and he's backed him to rediscover his form. Martial scored 78 goals for the club in 200 odd appearances. He's got 3 years left on his contract. Solskjaer, give Martial that number 9 shirt. Martial was good last season though, and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial has been at the club now over 5 years. We got him from Monaco. Matic, there's a possible chance he could be sold in the summer because he's not one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances. I've always had my strong reservations about Matic because he's always been a slow player, but he's had some good games at Man United. This is Matic's 4th season. Is it his 4th season now at the football club? I think it is. We got him in a deal worth £40 million. I think there's a few United fans that are saying we need to offload Victor Lindelof. Because Lindelof is a liability, and Lindelof and Maguire don't complement each other in our back line. I certainly prefer Eric Bailly ahead of Lindelof. Bailly is a very good centre-half, but my element of concern about Bailly is too injury-prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. But they complement each other, Bailly and Maguire. Recent narratives have said that we're apparently in talks over getting Eric Bailly a new deal because he's attracting interest from clubs in Italy and Spain. And Solskjaer confirmed not so long ago that he's prepared to sell either De Gea or Dean Henderson in the summer. Because, Solskjaer is definitely facing a goalkeeping dilemma. I'm expecting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to sign a new contract. He'll probably sign a new contract at the end of the season. It recently said that Solskjaer's future is in doubt because he admitted that nobody spoke to him over a new contract. Said a few weeks ago though, we'll wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. Says we could offer him a new 2-year deal on one condition, that's if we qualify for the Champions League. Solskjaer's into the final 18 months of his current contract. I think he does deserve a new contract reflecting on the progress he's made in the last year or so. I don't know if Solskjaer is the long-term manager for Man United, but I can assure he's going to be given at least another season at the football club. Obviously, we've enjoyed good periods under Ole, and we've also enjoyed bad periods under Ole, where a lot of United fans have demanded him out. Maybe there's still some Man United fans that are still Ole out right now. But he has been criticised a lot. But when we have been inconsistent, some of the blame stemmed from him, but not all of the blame stemmed from him. Reflecting now on Solskjaer's been at the football club, he has gained managerial experience and he's learnt quite a bit on the job. But he hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager. But if he starts winning trophies in that at Man United, then he'll have a proven pedigree behind him. He's been Man United manager now over 2 years. We appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. But I've got to say, he's our best manager since Ferguson. You know, Solskjaer's improved players. There's been some games where he's got the best out of the team. Performances have improved in recent months. We've got a very, very good away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. You know, we're second in the league. You know, Solskjaer's got us to the last 16 of the Europa League. Will be a tough game against Milan. Got us to the FA Cup quarter-finals. Be a tough game against Leicester. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. Did well last season in his first full season at the club. He's got rid of a hell of a lot of players since he's come in as well. And he's made some good signings. Solskjaer is inheriting players from other managerial eras. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is our fourth permanent manager since Ferguson. We've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson retired, and that was David Moyes, sacked him after 10 months. He enjoyed the shortest tenure at the club and he's the worst manager we've ever had. We finished 7th under the David Moyes era. The slowest we finished in the Premier League era was sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup, and we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning 3 trophies in his first season. I give you the reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players, such as Rashford, Pogba, Shaw and Martial and all of that, and basically the board just weren't backing the signings that I wanted to recommend in Mourinho. You know, we haven't only had different managers with different philosophies, have we? You know, we've spent over £1 billion on players since Ferguson retired. Like I've said to you, know, we haven't been the same team since Ferguson retired. And like I've said, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did. And no one's going to last as long as Ferguson did. You know, Ferguson enjoyed a 27-year tenure at Man United. You know, won 30-odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. Ferguson brought success to the club, but Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. So that just shows it takes time for some managers to settle in. You know, Jurgen Klopp, he didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool. And look how good he's done with them. I know they're going through a rough patch at the moment, but I'm sure they'll get back to, you know, they'll get back being good at some point. It's a good job Ferguson didn't get sacked in that 4-year period without winning anything, because we wouldn't have had any success. Wouldn't have done. Before Ferguson was inconsistent, you know, weren't good under Ron Atkinson. We weren't good under Franco Farrell. We got relegated under Farrell back in 1974, which is what, 40-odd years ago now, is it? Yeah. And we weren't good under Wilf McGuinness. Don't forget we also had Sir Matt Busby. But, you know, our current squad is good enough to finish at least in the top 4, but I'd say as it stands at the moment, it's not good enough to win the league. So this is why I've said to you, we need more signings. But there's players that have really improved. You know, Luke Shaw's improving. Dean Henderson's done well in the games he's played in this season. I hope he don't leave in the summer, Henderson. And Wan-Bissaka, he's done well in some games this season where he's got forward well. You know, Bay's done well in the games he's played in. Fred's really improving. Pogba's done well in recent months. You know, Bruno Fernandes, he's made a difference since he's come in. By the way, Solskjaer says that Bruno Fernandes is not the worst loser. Solskjaer said it's him that's the worst loser at Man United. Scott McTominay, he's done well in some games this season. You know, Rashford's done well. Greenwood's done very, very well since he got into the first team squad, and he's done well recently despite scoring. You know, Cavani, he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. So there you go. I will be on for my match reaction after the game against Chelsea, so join me for that. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.